Hi everyone, this is Gayle. Welcome to my channel. It's good to see you all. We already have Women's Station channel in here today. So hello Women's Station channel. I hope things are going well. I know that Women's Station channel did a broadcast earlier in conjunction with Tanya Lambert, a great big collab that you could call it. She was on Women's Station channel's channel and they were talking about cerebral palsy. So do tune in to that if y'all have time. So yeah, speaking of time, sorry I'm late. My little service dog let me know that he wanted to go through the door a few minutes ago. So y'all know how that goes. What I wanted to talk to you tonight is some sustainable habits that will help you to save money on your next road trip. I was really surprised about this. Oh, my stars. I knew about, recycling to save the planet and it's good for the earth, but I never thought about how recycling could actually help me save money on a road trip until I started doing this a few years ago. And I was on the way to Alaska, and that's really where I saw the benefits pay off. For those of you who don't know, I have driven to Alaska a few times. It's always important to save money on any trip, but when you're on a bigger trip, it's super important. This was usually for a mission trip. I've never done it just for fun. It's always been for missions. This summer is no exception. Sorry about that. Couldn't get that out there. But always have a lot of fun. But it just wasn't something that I had ever really thought could happen as far as recycling helping me save money on a road trip. So I've got a few tips that I'm going to share. Oh, we've got Busy Lady in. Hi, Busy Lady. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's good to see you. I've got a few tips that I'm going to share tonight on sustainable habits that will help you save the money. I wrote a blog article on it, so the blog article and this go together. And for those who are going to be participating in Earth Hour, don't worry, we try to limit these to an hour, so you will be off in plenty of time to honor Earth Hour. So there we go. Hey. All right. So the sustainable habits are very small things that add up. And when I say small things, I'm talking about sometimes we're saving 10 cents, but on a road trip, you can really see how it all really kicks in a major way. You don't have to have a huge road trip for this to show up on. Now, some of you are probably thinking, oh, yeah, she does van life. So, of course. And there are some special considerations that go into van life, but these are tips that anybody can use. Started off, I was talking to a girlfriend the other day, and she was telling me about how on her trip, she just got back from a 10-day trip. She went to the beach. Oh, I would love to be at the beach right now, right? 10-day road trip to the beach. And she was telling me that her family went to Starbucks a couple of times on the trip. And she also told me, we started talking about this because she said that she goes to Starbucks a couple of times a day, sometimes during the week. She goes before work to get her caffeine to keep her going for work. And then if she's doing a lot of driving for the kids and so forth, she will, she says, go to Starbucks another couple or 3 times. So that's a fair amount in 1 week. But a lot of people I know have that habit. I love Starbucks too. We don't live near one now. Kind of wish we did. But one little thing about Starbucks, and I'm going to share this because I think a lot of you will be interested in it. I found this on the website. They will give a discount if you take in a cup that's reusable. And it used to be that it had to have the Starbucks logo on it. I'm going to assume that's the way it still is. But bring your reusable cups. They're doing it again. This was dated in June 2021. So if this has changed again, somebody tell me. but you can get 10 cents off for bringing in your reusable cup. And it's touchless. It is really cool the way that they are doing this. Um, and you think, well, 10 cents isn't much. I'm going to show you how it adds up in just a second. I'm going to use my girlfriend, my friend who's a girl, as an example. Is it? That's good to know. I'm not a huge coffee drinker at all, but my husband is. And my daughter is. My daughter, Stellar Piper, I don't know if she's going to be on here tonight or not, but we'll see. She is going to be on with me tomorrow night, though, on the other channel at 8. But I'll get to that in a little bit. But anyway, when you take your reusable cup in, what they're doing is you keep your lid. It's all touchless. They mix up your drink as usual. They put your cup in one of their large mugs. They actually just set the mug on the counter. You put your cup in it. From that point on, they're just touching the mug handle of theirs. They're never actually touching your cup, which is really kind of cool. And then they mix it up and they pour it all into your cup. They hand the mug to you and you just put your lid on it and you're good to go. So this little Starbucks cup right here. So take it in, 10 cents off. And you think, well, 10 cents is not really that big of a deal. Well, my girlfriend just says that she goes 5 times a week and she goes sometimes twice a week. Now, I also know that she stops on the way into church because I've seen her carrying in this cup, or a cup like this, except paper. But if she would just switch to a reusable, here's how it adds up. Especially if she carries this habit over to a road trip, which she says she does, okay? Just her taking her cup in 6 days a week, adding, let's say, 3 trips a week, then she's up to, what, 60 plus 30 is 90 cents per week. How much is that per year? That's almost $1. Let's just go ahead and make it easy math. 52 weeks in a year, she's saving $1 a week. That's a big whopping $52 a year. But here's the thing. If she's a family out on a road trip, she and her husband have 4 kids, all right? So 6 people, 5 times a day, 60 cents a day on a road trip for 10 days. And if that's really her habit, and then with the kids, then she's saving 60 cents a day. That's 60 times 10, that's $6. And you want to say, well, that's really not that much money. I just checked. The average cost for a gallon of gas in the U.S. is $3.42. So her habit, if she switches over to a reusable cup, almost buys her 2 gallons of gas. Now, the thing about saving money a little at a time is it adds up and we tend not to see it and not pay attention to it. It's really easy to say, oh, I'm just going to save 10 cents. Even if you've got a family, you're like, well, that's a lot to fool with. But you can see how it adds up. And when you're almost getting enough for 2 gallons of gas, that's when it hits you. Right? What about you all? Does that hit you? It does me. And all of this adds up. And I know when I'm on a trip, I could use an extra couple of gallons of gas. Just saying. I think most of us could. So the other thing is restaurant refills. Bring your own cup into a restaurant to get a drink to take with you as you leave. Most of the time they will offer, would you like a drink to go? If they don't, and some restaurants are not doing this anymore, but if they don't, just say, hey, I've got my own cup. Can I just refill it from my glass? And I so far have not had anybody say, Yeah, do that, and I'll bring you a refill. I mean, not say that. They've always consistently said that. So I have walked out with a glass or cup of whatever beverage, whether it has been iced tea or soda. My husband does it with coffee, but like I said, I'm not a coffee person. And so here I've just saved myself however much it is to go to a convenience store and get a drink, right? Let's see, Women's Station channel. Okay, back up. Busy Lady says gas station coffee is good, sometimes much cheaper. And Women's Station channel says, I don't drive, but gas is always a cost. That's not a happy thing when my son and I travel. No, it is not. And the thing about gas is it's one of those fixed costs that you have no control over. So there are costs on any trip that you can control and what you can't. And gas is one of the few expenses that you have no control over. So it's really very helpful to, try to save what you can on a trip and put it toward gas. Or if you're in a city, you may need transportation fees from Uber, buses, however you get around. So that counts too. So bringing your own cup to Starbucks can save money, and bring it in when you go into a restaurant can save you money. But here is a hidden thing that a lot of people don't know about. And they did stop this for a while, but now most of the truck stops are getting into this, and a lot of the gas stations are coming along. Take your own cup. Ask them just to make sure, always ask, but ask them if you can get free ice or ice water with your own cup. The ones that I've been to have all started doing this now, and it is a big money saver. So let's say you go in and you come out with a free cup of ice water. And if you've got a flavoring packet, you can add your flavoring packet, or if you've got a lemon that you've sliced before leaving home, throw a piece of lemon in it if you don't like water. But how much should this just save you? Vending machine drinks and convenience store drinks are what? $1.50 to $3? That's what I saw when I looked the other day. If it's $3 and you just came out with a cup of ice water that you were going to have to spend money on to buy that bottle of water, then congratulations. If it's $3, you just saved yourself a gallon of gas almost. $3.42 for gas, saving $3 for a drink. And you can also ask, can I get 2 cups of ice water? Once in a great while, I will have somebody say, well, it's just one per person. 99.9% of the time, they're like, sure, you've got 2 cups, go get it. Plus, they don't know, you might have somebody in the car. In my case, I would have my dog. So if you get 2 of those, then you have just saved $6. So you see how this adds up? And if you do this, if you get, 1 cup, let's say, for $2, and you're on my friend's 10-day trip, then you've just saved $20 by reusing a cup. And you've got the initial cost of the cup, and after that, as you reuse it, it pays for itself. So that's one of the things that adds up in a big hurry. And my girlfriend that went to Starbucks every day, if she had gone to the gas station and she had taken Busy's hint, she would have saved more. But if she had switched out and asked the kids to get ice water, then she would have saved a bundle. When I go to Alaska this summer, I'm going to be gone around 30 days. $3 a day for 30 days is a chunk of change, So, yeah. So, and the thing is, we all have a tendency to just go, oh yeah, it's ice water, or oh, it's just 10 cents, without thinking about how it adds up. So if I'm gone for the 30 days, and I take this cup and I fill it up once a day, because I stop for gas like a couple of times a day, easy, because I'm driving so much. Well, that's $90 that I've saved just with a reusable cup, getting that free ice water instead of buying a soda. See, it really can make a difference. And I don't even want to do the math on how many gallons that would break down to, but it's a bunch. So you should get free ice or water, or both. They will also. I have been known to go in and ask, could I get hot water? And oh, by the way, I've got this cup. Can I just go get some ice in that? So then I have my hot water for tea that I can pour in over my ice. Yes, 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 yes. Yep, absolutely. And I actually have one of those I take on trips, but confession time, I was too lazy to go out to the van to get it right before the live stream. But those filters do a great job at taking the bad taste out of water. They're phenomenal. So, yeah, Women's Station Channel has a really good point there. And like I said, if you don't like ice water, get yourself a tea bag, one of those flavoring packets, cucumber, lemon, whatever you would like, and then drop it into the water. It really, really does make a difference. So, all right, single-use plastic bags, the thing we all love to hate. And when I went to a visitor center the other day, when I was in West Tennessee, I really don't know much about West Tennessee, so I stopped and picked up some brochures, and they gave me some tour books, which is really nice. And then I had this plastic bag. Well, that's great to carry things in, but I felt bad because the reason they gave me this plastic bag is because I forgot my reusable bag. Hold on just a second. Cup meals with free hot water. Yes. Yep, mix them together. And Women's Station Channel is saying that her son loved cheese noodle soups that way. Yeah, the cups of soup, the ramen noodles, those are all really pretty good. And again, good point, because I hadn't thought about that. But yeah, that's a really good point. And the other thing that I set right here, that I'm going to show you, talking about the hot water, my husband the other day. Busy Lady, if you're a coffee person, I don't know if you've seen these. They are coffee singles. We got some the other day. I'm actually putting them together for a giveaway. My husband picked them up. More on that later. So this little plastic bag that they gave me is great to put things in coming back from the visitor center. And I've got my brochures in, and I'll be going through those brochures and keeping the ones I want to use and recycling the ones that I don't, obviously. But when it comes to single-use plastic bags, there are some states that charge a fee on the bags, or they charge an extra tax. And that can be anywhere from like a nickel to 10 cents a bag, which I find kind of frustrating. I get where they're coming from, but I find it frustrating. And if you're in Canada, let me tell you, good luck finding a plastic bag in most places in Canada without paying for it. And I've been to the Dollar Tree in Canada, the one right on the Alaska Highway, Dawson Creek, mile zero. And they asked me, they said, would you like a box? And dumb me, I'm not even thinking, because like I'm from the US and we have bags in the US. Well, guess what they didn't have? So you're carrying your things in a box or in your hand. Now, fortunately, I only had 3 or 4 things, but I could have gotten a box if I didn't. Which, those of you who are used to shopping at Aldi know that their policy is you either buy the bag, bring a bag, or you use their cardboard boxes. And that is to reduce the amount of plastic that's in the world. Now, they do offer some plastic bags or some bags for sale. Or, like I said, you can use the box. But if you buy one of their bags, one of their reusable totes, I think they're like 99 cents. So they're not that much. But it's like, that's $1 you could have spent on something else on your trip. And that, when you're talking about a trip, like every day, we don't really notice it that much. But when you've got a limited amount on a trip budget, like we looked at last week, these things really, really, really add up. So if you go to Aldi and it's a couple of bucks there for the bags, then you decide to get water, that's $5. Then you're into that. That can be a fast food meal. That can be gas. But it's starting to get, at that point, it's starting to get a noticeable amount. $6 on a 10-day trip, my girlfriend and her family, that's a noticeable amount. So it all adds up. The other thing about plastic bags is the obvious. I use them, and you probably do too, some, in your wastebasket, right? Well, you can also use them to put dirty clothes in, wet clothes in. If you go to the beach, put your swimsuits in it. And you've got these at home more than likely, and you're not buying those bags. You're not spending money. I looked at buying a box of bags when I was out on my last trip because I ran out of plastic bags. I'd forgotten to fill up my container, and I was out. So I looked at buying some at the Dollar Tree. It was like $1.25 for like a pack of 20 bags. That's not that much individually. But again, on a trip, it all adds up. So I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. And I wound up buying enough stuff at the Dollar Tree that they wound up giving me like 3 bags anyway, even with me standing there saying, put it all in one bag, please. Put it all in one bag, please. And for me, it going in one bag really is helpful carrying it out rather than carrying out 3 bags. But, me, my foot, and my dog. What can I say? And Women's Station Channel is saying that the foldable grocery bags and backpacks are great. They are. And they're nice and small. You can keep them in your car. You can put them in your purse. Stick them in the glove compartment. Just make sure that when you get them in the house, you bring them back out just like any other bag. But the plastic bags, reusing them for trash bags and lots of other things are good. And like I said, it keeps you from buying them. The other thing is for me, I have a dog. I travel with the dog. The dog needs anywhere from 2 to 3 poop bags a day. Would you believe they are expensive to buy? Like you can get 20 bags in a pack or 24 bags in a pack at the Dollar Tree, but you're paying $1.25 for 24 bags. And he's going to go through that pretty quickly. Again, I know the other bags are cute and they're convenient, but take these reusable plastic bags. What I like to do is stick them down. I have got bleach white containers from the pandemic and before. Empty those out. I wipe the insides out to make sure it's really dry, and I stuff my bags in there, and then I just pull out one at a time. So I'm reusing the container, and I've got the bags available, and the bags are free, and it makes just life easy. And I have some friends that are helping me collect bags in preparation for the trip this summer. So I know I will have plenty of bags. So I'm recycling them, and both of my friends are recycling them too. So your good habits to save money can bounce off of other people, which is a great thing, you know. And of course, reusable bags don't have to be just store names. You can get yourself some cute ones. I like these just because they're fun. And Women's Station Channel is saying you can make snacks before you leave. Homemade granola bars. Vegetables are always a problem. Dried kale leaves are great. So, yeah, good points there for saving money. Good points. Good points. And something else that we don't think about is these little reusable containers or big reusable containers. I got earring backs in these, but I brought it in here to remind me to talk to you about it because I have a tendency when I go into a restaurant, I have a tendency to have leftovers. So what I do is before going into the restaurant, I have reusable containers like these. And this was from a KFC lunch like 2 years ago, a year ago. Anyway, a long time ago. So I've got a couple of those and I'll just stick them in my purse. When I go into the restaurant, I'll put my leftovers in the containers. I've got a larger container too that I'll use, especially if I'm going into like the Cracker Barrel, because I don't always eat all the biscuits and I will take those out with me. And the advantage, if I'm in the van, I can make some gravy really easily and I'll have gravy biscuits like the next morning. If I'm in a hotel and I think I might want something to eat later that night, then you can take the hot water from the coffee pot and make yourself some gravy. Buy the pack at the store. It's like 50 cents for a gravy pack. You're not going to kill yourself. And I can use those packs have enough for me to use for myself a couple of times. And boom, I'm having a snack or breakfast. Gravy and biscuits. There's no sausage, but that's okay. You still got what you got. And you're recycling by using your little containers and saving money. So, breakfast, no problem. Let's see. Okay. I got to pull this thing up here because I just drew a blank. Okay. And of course, if you go to a restaurant, let's say you go into a fast food restaurant, you've gotten gas, you're running in, you just want to get a quick little French fries or apple slices or a cheeseburger or whatever. And you know how they put piles of napkins in the bag sometimes? Like, what is it with these places? You either get one napkin or you get the whole stack, you know? And let's see. Women's Station Channel says one meal out and make two. Yep. And she said many times she reused the condiments. Yep. Or can. Yep. I got you. Yeah, I do that. If I'm out and I am getting like a hot dog or something, especially if I'm at a pilot, I'll get a couple of packs of mustard or a couple of packs of relish. And like if you get a relish in a mayonnaise packet and you have tuna in your vehicle, boom, you just made tuna salad, you know? So yeah, good points. I'm glad you're here, Women's Station Channel, because I would have forgotten that and I would have never thought about the soup. So that helps right there. So yay for Women's Station Channel. Those napkins, though, we have a tendency, or at least I have a tendency, to take those napkins and throw them in the seat and then not kind of forget that they're there. Or at least I did until one of my big trips to Alaska. And then I was like, okay, I'm getting all these napkins. I'm going to start putting them in a safe place because what happens is I was buying paper towels. And sometimes on the trip to Alaska, I'm gone a month, I'm in the van. But even if I'm in the car, I am spilling things and needing paper towels for various things. And I know it's a blinding flash of the obvious. But if you have napkins from a restaurant, you're not having to go out and buy paper towels. As long as you keep them where they're not going to get messed up. So it adds up. And forgot to mention, on these little reusable containers, there are restaurants now that have started charging for to-go containers. You can take your leftovers home. That's no problem. But you got to pay anywhere from 25 cents to 50 cents for the styrofoam container. Yeah, I won't get on my soapbox about that. But if you take your own containers, you're recycling, you're saving money by not having to buy the container, and you're saving money by having a meal later or the next day. And it's all recycling. You know, like who would have thought that just some basic recycling things could help you save so much money? Relish and mayonnaise. Did I say something else? If I said mustard or something else a minute ago, I sure didn't mean to. But relish, mayonnaise, and tuna to make a tuna salad for like crackers or bread. That's how we do it in the South anyway. So, oh, and also on the towels, of course, you're going to pack a roll of paper towels, but I learned a long time ago that a large beach towel and a couple of washcloths are fabulous for a trip because the beach towel you can use for spills, you can use it to change a baby on if you need to, you can use it for a blanket. If you're cool in the car, you can cover up with it. Lots of good uses for a beach-sized blanket right there. Washcloths. Wash off your child's face with a washcloth. Just use some of your water to kind of wet the cloth with. Wipe off their face if they get it dirty. Wipe off little hands. You can use them for small spills. Just take like your super cheap washcloths or your older ones, and they are great to have on the trip. Just saying. And you can, if you're just getting up a spill, and that's a nice thing about getting water at the store instead of getting soda. But if you're just wiping off a spill, you can take that towel and you can spread it out in the back end of your car and let it dry out. Same thing about a washcloth you've wiped hands with or whatever. And then when you get to where you're going, just throw it in with your other laundry, and you're not spending that money out on disposable paper towels. So, yeah. So that's my thing about the towels. Also, reusable plates and flatware. I have some plastic plates that I picked up at Walmart for like 50 cents a plate. I got them a couple of years ago. They are replacing the plates that I used before then. Those things, oh my gosh, they are worth their weight in gold because you may go through a drive-through or you may order from a restaurant and boom. What is it the DoorDash drivers forgetting to get the plastic utensils? Or if you order a pizza and you say, hey, bring 6 plates when you bring this pizza, and they forget those reusable plates, you're not just recycling, but it can save your bacon and help you save money because you're not buying the disposables. And you can get the flatware at a thrift shop for little of nothing, or you can, buy it brand new at Walmart or whatever. And for me, being in the van, I keep it in the van. But before I was doing the van life, I just kept it in the box with my reusable plates. And then we had those for, picnics or whenever we needed it, going through a drive-through or whatever. So it's recycling and it helps you save money. And if you don't have the plates, if you have like large to-go containers, use those instead. It doesn't have to be like a plate. So it really, really helps. And then you're not spending out the money on the paper plates or the styrofoam and the plastic utensils and all kinds of stuff like that. So yeah. Women's Station Channel, she says, I was going to say I would rewash the washcloths. Absolutely. And that's just a little thing, but oh my gosh, those little washcloths just make life so much more convenient. And I like to pair them. I've got little soap packets that I take with me places. So a little bit of water on a washcloth, soap packet, you're good to go. And then wet another washcloth, and then you're rinsing your hands. But oh my gosh, like when the kids were little, oh my stars, I was constantly buying baby wipes for things like hands and faces. And I remember one day my youngest daughter decided to paint herself blue like the Cookie Monster. Yeah, that was interesting. But anyway, it saves you money. You're reusing it. It's not something you're going to throw away. And even if you buy super cheap washcloths specifically to keep in your car for road trips, you are going to have those until they completely fall apart. If you buy a roll of paper towels, you're spending about the same money as you would on 5 or 6 washcloths, and you're going to have those paper towels maybe until the end of the road trip. So those are just things that you can just throw in. Get the colored ones. You can throw them in with jeans. You don't have to, wait for all of your light colored clothes to get dirty. Throw them in with jeans, throw them in with socks. It just makes life easier. And yeah, right here, Women's Station Channel, many times she didn't get placed when she's ordered. Having the reusable ones really helps. The other thing is my husband and I will order Chinese sometimes when we go to a hotel and we're wanting to really splurge. And when we order the Chinese, there is always enough for both of us and the next day. But those containers don't always do so well. So taking the reusables help for that too. So yeah. Oh, hey, Iron Firehorse is in. Hey, Irene, welcome. It's good to see you. So yeah, those things, it just really helps. And they're small things, but one of the things I do have to say is that by doing the recycling techniques and saving the money, it really has shown me that there's no such thing as small things because it all adds up. Like my girlfriend going to Starbucks and taking the cups so she can get 10 cents off, where it's her whole family at 60 cents. And that adds up to, at the end of her 10-day trip, if she did that every day, that's $6. We can't afford to go around throwing away almost 2 gallons of gas, right? And that's what she would have saved, was almost 2 gallons. And it's just that I didn't realize that it would make a difference until I took one of the trips to Alaska, reusing my cup, and then it hit me. I was like, I have saved a lot of money by not buying drinks. And so I started adding it up, and I don't remember what it added up to, but I know that for me, it was quite a bit of money. From then on, I was hooked. But then I started noticing the other ways that the recycling, like reusing the plastic bags and things like that, were impacting my bottom line. And now I'm like, I make sure that I have what I need before I leave, everything I can that's recyclable. Now, do I still use paper towels? I do have a roll of paper towels in my van. That's one of the benefits of having the van. Have I opened them? Yeah, probably. But it's been a while since I've used them. Also, with the recycling and taking the washcloths and stuff, I will oftentimes take one of the partial rolls from home, and that'll do me all of the trip now that I've learned more about the washcloths and so forth. Now, in the van, there are some special things that come into play for van life with recycling, in that I think it opens up our options a little bit more. Irene's in here. She can tell me what she thinks. And for me, I think it's opened up options because I'm more likely to have water inside the van. So that if I'm going into a truck stop, I'm just asking for ice. Assuming I don't have my ice machine hooked up in the van. And obviously, if I have the ice machine hooked up, then I don't need to go in and get ice water. But I will go ahead and get the water anyway, just to save on more on what's in the van. But I'm more likely to have it. And from a cost perspective, I can fill up my water bottles at a national park. A lot of them will let you fill up your large 1 gallon bottles, and I just pour that over. So yeah, for me that's a help, and I can wash my own clothes. And let's see, Iron is saying, let me go back in here. She says she doesn't buy takeout coffee, maybe twice a year. So that's going to be a huge savings, especially if you're like my girlfriend. But anyway, and she said, yes, she always has plenty of water on the road. So you're more likely to have that and less likely to have to buy it out elsewhere. The other thing with my van, I am set up for solar. And the advantages of solar is I can reheat those leftovers if I go into a restaurant at all. Can reheat those leftovers in the van. I can cook in the van. All of that is energy from the sun that is falling. And so I'm using it. So I'm kind of recycling the sun's energy there. I'm using it for cooking. I'm using it for washing. And I have a small washing machine, as y'all know who've seen the channel. And that washing machine that I have, I can use on solar in the van. It is great. Now, it stinks at spinning the clothes. I will be the first one that says that, but it washes great. So I am not having to spend money to go out and wash my clothes, which is a cost savings for me, but I'm using the energy that's sustainable because it's solar. So that's a plus for the environment. The only place that it's really a negative is if you have a laundromat, because I don't have to visit you much at all. So that's really helpful. Now, Women's Station Channel is also pointing out that she used to go to Walmart for 25-cent gallons of water many years ago, and she had a 7-pound water gallon too. Yeah, you can see that, which is great because she's reusing that bottle every time she goes to the store. You make such neat meals in your hot plate cooker, Gayle. Thank you. I got some more videos coming out about a few more things I've cooked because you can really do a lot. Now, Irene, I'm looking into the Dash cooker. Irene's got a Dash griddle, and she says it takes less wattage. So I am looking at that, and I think I'm going to do that whenever this one bites the dust. I think I'm going to bite the bullet, and I'm going to get the Dash. So I'm excited about that. And those little griddles, use it off of solar. It doesn't take much to cook with it. And again, you're using the sun's electricity. And I'm putting any leftovers that I have in my recycled containers that I'm not going out and spending a bunch of money on storage containers. So I'm recycling these and I'm using the sun's energy. And that's 2 sustainable habits that, if you're doing van life, can really help you save money through recycling. And let's see. Yeah, Iron says it's easier to boil water, or she has her big Stanley thermos if she fills it when she fills it with boiling water, so it's ready for beverages, cleaning up, etc. Yeah. And see, that helps too. You know, you're reusing that thermos and you've got that supply. You can go when you go to the truck stop and you can fill that with hot water too. You can ask. And okay, Irene says she loves it, and the less energy it needs, the better with her little Jackery. Yeah. And the Jackery is a portable electric system there that she can use. So it really helps. I just kind of feel like that with van life, it opens up more ways to save money through recycling because you've got everything right there with you, and it's small and it's compact and it's just right there, and you don't have a lot of space for a lot of extra things. You know, you're not going to have a great big stack of paper plates because you don't have room for them. You're going to get the reusable plates and you're going to wash them, and that's just one of the things about van life. The other thing that I really like about van life is I am not having to go to a hotel. So I am not using the hotel's electricity, which is usually fossil fuels, right? I'm not using any of that. I am in my van. I'm using the solar, so it's sustainable. I am cooking dinner in my van on solar, the sustainable. I'm reusing my plates and my cooking utensils. I am using my plastic trash bags to line my waste baskets with. I am going to get the food with my reusable bags, so I'm not having to spend money, and it just adds up. And Iron says, I use it only for boiling water, so I never have to worry about it getting yucky, and it keeps water warm for 3 days. Wow. I have never heard of one that actually legit kept water warm for 3 days. That is amazing. That is amazing. Tanya says like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. I totally forgot that. See, thank you, you all. I'd be lost without you. Thank you. So yeah, those are a few things that I like to do to recycle and save money. And like I said, I did not think about it as money saving at all until I took that first trip. And I noticed that not buying drinks at the store were really adding up. And when I say store, I'm talking about convenience store. Whenever I went into the grocery store, I always bought like some bottles of water in a case, in a package. But even if you're spending like $3 on 6 bottles of water in a package, that's still not like recycling. And then you have to figure out what are you going to do with the bottles, you know? And my husband loves Lipton iced tea. I'm just going to tell on him. He loves this stuff in the jars, the glass jars. He just thinks that's the best thing going. I'm not sold on it, but he has this never-ending supply of glass jars. So I use it for food storage. I can use it for spice storage. I use them to store my cooking utensils in that I don't want just running around the van and getting dirty. I use it to store my flatware in, whether I'm in a van or going out on a road trip in the car. There's just a lot of uses for those. And that helps me save money too. Also, we're not having, he does not like ice water much at all. So we're not having to go out and buy drinks for him because he's got his powder. And so the powder saves money when he combines it with the gas station ice water, and I reuse the jars. Fun fact on that, we actually have friends at a church, and every year they do a soup sale, and we found out that those Lipton tea jars are great for them for the quart-sized jars because they were spending all this money on mason jars. And so now we save the money so he can have his tea when we're out, get it from, the gas station or whatever, the free ice water. And so he saves money that way. And in addition to reusing it in the ways I just mentioned, we saved the rest of them and we gave them to the church one year and they had to buy almost none of the mason jars. So, fact put on. Let's see. Iron says she opened it after, and we're talking about the Stanley. She said she opened it after 5 days and it was still warm. Stanley is expensive, but a superior product. I bought mine on a Black Friday sale at 40% off. I love Black Friday sales for that reason. And I had seen some advertised that are supposed to keep things warm. They just, what my experience with them, they've just always fallen short. So I'm really excited to know that there's one that will hold water that long at a warm temperature. That is great. Happy Cerebral Palsy Awareness Day. I did not know that that was today. We have our own cerebral palsy hero here. Tanya, where's Tanya? I'm going to bring you up. There you go. There you go. So, happy CP Day to you. And so, Tanya says, her friend Laurie, Women's Station Channel, and I did a podcast on cerebral palsy awareness today. It doesn't like the way I speak. Sorry, speech to text. I understand that. I do. It doesn't get my Southern accent all the time either. Yeah. Yeah, I mentioned that right at the top of the program. So, and let's see. Women's Station's channel says she might get her beta fish during the Black Friday sale. You never know what's going to be on sale. And it's always fun. But I got to tell you, if I see that little Dash cooker on a Black Friday sale, I'm going to have to go grab it. And now I'm all intrigued about the Stanley because I will sometimes send hot water for soup with my husband to work during the cooler months so he doesn't have to spend money on lunch. Sometimes I'll be nice and take it to him. And of course, if he can remember it, he takes it himself. If he can remember it. Will you let me post your podcast with me at your Facebook blog page, Gayle? Yeah, didn't you already do that? I thought I said yes. If I didn't, I meant to. I mean, we don't want to spam everybody, but that's a pretty big deal. And if you take your episode and you turn that into a podcast, if you post the episode in our Facebook group, just post the link for the podcast in one of the comments underneath it. That way everybody knows where to look for it. It'll be on that same post. And I think that can be helpful for people because they can just go in and hit the search bar and just do a search for that. So yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because I want us to support each other. You did. Okay, good. Good. And let's see. Tanya says her grandpa has his group go to Stanley Thumbs, and it's huge, and it has its own case. And it keeps water hot for a day. It's old, but it works. Okay. Irene was just telling us she's got one that has been warm for 5 days, she says, that she's felt it and it's warm, and said that, where is it? Here it is. She's opened it after 5 days and it was still warm. So, which is super, super awesome. And see, that's the thing too about buying things that you know you're going to reuse, because if you actually reuse them and don't just let them sit in a closet, they can pay for themselves and save you some money. Okay, good. You do that. Just put it on that same post that you did earlier, because like I said, that way people will know exactly where to look for it. So it'll help. But we definitely want to do things like that because I want us to support each other in our group. To me, that's about being bodacious too, you know? Because if women can't support women, we got to, kind of go back and rethink, So, yeah. And there she is. Thank you again. Let Laurie or Women's Station. Yeah, that's fine. I knew what you meant. That's okay. Yeah. Technology is wonderful until it's not. And when it's not, it really can be a pain. So, yeah, don't even worry about that. Don't even. But I'm glad you guys are sharing your ideas about recycling too, because it just helps. Nobody's got all the answers. I mean, these are just some things that have helped me. And if I'd known about the Stanley thermos, keeping your water warm for days, I would have had that a long time ago. So I don't need it so much in the van because I've got other ways to heat up. But I'm going to check and see about getting one for my husband for his warm water, and that's something we can put in the car for our car trips. Because if I'm only going to be gone for a day or a few hours, then I'm going to usually take the car because it's got better gas mileage than the van. And if I'm going to go overnight, let's say I have to go to Knoxville for a medical test and I have to be there at like 7 o'clock in the morning, then if I leave from here, I have to leave at 4. So I'll take the van for something like that. But there are so many times it would have been nice to have had hot water in the car. So I'm going to look for that. But I don't know. I don't know if I can wait till Black Friday. So I may start looking at thrift shops. And let's see. Oh, Tanya hasn't tested it more than a day and a half. That's what the average person is going to do, about a day, day and a half. Iron says it absolutely saves money, adds to convenience and effective everyday tools. I use it mainly to have hot water for bathing and cleaning right when I need it. I really like that idea. Something else that we've done when we were camping and in the car is those laundry things. I just had a breakdown on thought there. Hold on, that whole train derailed. I hate not being able to think of the word that I need to think of because it's like I can picture the item and I can picture the word because I've been taught to do that. But getting that to connect, to come out, that's just a head injury thing. But anyway, the laundry liquids that have the spout on them, you probably know what I'm talking about. At least I hope you do. You can put water in that, and you can have water with you if you just want to wash your hands or something. Those are nice. That's a good way to recycle too. And let's see. Tanya says she appreciates supporting the podcast because, yeah, Mom has cerebral palsy, and we appreciate support. No problem. Absolutely. Hey, Gayle, on your van video, you had that USB faucet where you could touch it and has water out of it. Did you get it on Amazon? Yes. Yes, 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 yes. I did. I love it. The only thing is, I don't know if I mentioned during the live stream, but my sweet little dog has found out he can put his hand on the water faucet and boom, or not his hand, but his paw, and turn on the water. And he just plays in it. He just thinks it's all fun. I, however, am screeching trying to pull over to the side of the road at the next possible safe moment to turn it off because all of it is going into my gray water tank. It does not have an automatic shut off. But it's worth it. So, yeah, I just love it. And I can pull it up and see. Let me see if I can pull it up. I just typed it in. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. Portable water bottle pump. Right there. And so there it is. I'll put the link. I tell you what, I'll drop it. If you guys are interested in that, I'll go ahead and put it in the chat. and you'll have it. But I really like it. And we've got it on the counter. We actually made a special place in the counter that I could set it in there. But it's designed to go on a 3-gallon or a 5-gallon water bottle. Um, I have it sitting well above the water bottle because I I needed the space underneath the sink. So I just put an extra long hose on it. I happen to have the hose from having to need oxygen, so it was not something I had to go out and buy. But Lowe's can probably hook you up if you need one. You have one too. Do you like yours? I just love mine. Our service dog's smarter than most people give him credit for. We have to hide the dog treats or put them up for Archer. Can't reach him, he can get in the container. Yeah. Although, honestly, I have to say, and I keep saying this, I'm not 100% sure how smart Pipsy is, but he's got this people pleasing streak. So he likes to do things that will make you happy. I'm just not convinced of his brilliance. But he's a good dog. He is smart. He's just not a super smart dog. So, like, Tomlin was very smart. But then there's a difference in Huskies and Labs. So I'm still learning all of this with Labs. And let's see. And before I moved in with my mom, he figured out how to open the screen door in my old apartment. That is so cool. We are still working with Pipsy on how to open the door. It's been a long time coming. And he was supposed to already know how to open the door. You know, you push forward and that bar that goes down, because I don't know about you, but I want him to be able to do it on command. That way, if I fall and need help, he can go outside and get John. If I tell him to, Tomlin could do it, but this one's just not. One day he'll get there. But okay, the charge usually lasts for me in the van. It kind of depends on how long you use it. I would say pretty easily for me 5 to 7 days. And that's with me using it to rinse off my dishes, wash my hands, water for the dog, so forth. I love it. Yeah, it works really well. Haven't used mine. I'll try it out before I go on my camping trip in May to make sure it works. Yeah, I always like to test things out before I really need them. But yeah, I've loved it. The only thing is, I do have to watch the dog. I'm not convinced what are two things will make me happy is the thing that makes me happy, like opening the screen door. Archer is extremely smart, which can be an extremely big problem, but he's a pushover. He lets a 7-pound sister do whatever he wants. That's okay. Yep. So, yeah, I really like it. I like that it goes on the 3-gallon or the 5-gallon. It's inexpensive enough that if you wanted one for like warm and cool, you possibly could do that. I don't know. I just use the room temperature and I'm fine. But Archer is very experienced. Yeah, he's older than Pipsy. So how old is Archer now? Is he like five-ish? Um, I lost that train of thought. Oh, oh yeah. The stuff about saving money by recycling, I do have that on my blog, by the way, which is the Bodacious Broads travel blog, and I'll link that down below, down in the description. And let's see, Tanya says, I'm thinking about getting one, setting up the back of my scooter with 3-gallon water so that I can have access to water for the dogs more freely. The only thing about that, I don't know that you're going to be happy with it for that purpose because it just fits on and it kind of wobbles around. So you may wind up putting tape or something on it to hold it down. It doesn't screw down. That's the only that's probably the only thing I can think of that would make you not very happy with it. I may have a video on it actually in use. Let me just look real quick. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. Let me see if I caught that. Yep. Okay, here's a link I'm going to give you. I can get back in here and give it to you. That's a video I did on it, and you can see that it just sits down there. Um, in the van, we took the board and with the router, we made indents in it so it would just sit in there without wobbling off. But yeah, the lid, it just fits on there. I can post that in the group if you want me to. But there's the link to the video right over there in the chat box. So, and for Irene, I hope you like yours. For me, it's been one of those like I didn't have to have it. I had the hand pump, so I didn't have to go out and buy that water faucet. But it's really been like one of my favorite things about the van. So I'm glad I bought it. We did get to the point where the water pump, the hand pump that we had, it was getting really hard to pump it. So that water spout combined with that 5 gallon bucket, that 5 gallon water bottle that I can just take in and refill and reuse, it's fabulous. Oh my stars, he'll be 7 this June. Wow. I didn't realize that he was already, wow. See, I just made him a lot younger than I thought. You could put the water in a backpack, Tanya, for your wheelchair. Now, that's a good idea too. You might like that idea better. You too, Irene. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate you. I think it will be handy for me filling the kettle. You're gonna like it for anything. You will like it for anything and everything. I'm sure of it. I can't wait to hear, but you keep us filled in on that. But I think you're gonna love it. Yeah, I'm looking at other ideas for the wheelchair, and that's not a bad idea, Lori. That's really good. Yeah, because they make those backpacks with the water bladder in them. Honestly, that's go ahead and look at the faucet. Look at the video that I did on it. It's only like a 4 minute and something video, but you'll see that it does not fit on the jug tightly. But a water bladder backpack, I would definitely look at that. I think you may be happier with that because that you can just go ahead and put it on like the back of your wheelchair. And you don't have to have the backpack. You can just get the bladder. But you here, I'm gonna let me pull this up. Lori, I think that was a great idea for her. Okay, it's coming in, so yeah, it's one of those things that unless you hike a lot or know somebody who hikes a lot, you may not think about it. But here you go. These are all examples of they call them water bladders, and the way it is the water fits down. It's like a pouch, and the water fit goes into the pouch, and then you've got the bladder hose portion and that's what you would, pull the water out of. Let me see if there's one that shows you. You can add or remove the tube, pressure. Oh, this one's got it shown for ice too. That I had not thought about ice. And then this one's got a convenient clean. Just put a cloth in your hand and wipe it out on the inside really good. And then when I had one, I just put something down in it to kind of help hold it open to let it air dry. And this one you can pull it out to unlock, which is the way I think all the ones that I've seen have worked like that. But I was hoping there would be one that would actually show them wearing it as a backpack, and they're only showing her front. Let's go into this one and see if it does. What is this with them just showing the front? That's not as helpful as we would like. But anyway, the water bladder fits down into a backpack. But I think that in your situation, even if you don't have a backpack, if you put it in maybe just straight on the back of your wheelchair in another bag, if you've got a regular backpack, that's probably all you need. So, Lori, that was a good idea for her. And that's true too. But the water bladder, you can just put it on there and leave it and just fill it up as you need it. But they're only you get about the amount of a 2-liter water bottle. Would you say, Lori? Maybe a little bit more, maybe 3. So you're not looking at carrying gallons. But still, it's a helpful amount. There you go. Because they're like $13. So it's an investment, but it's not a huge investment. I think you're going to be happier with that. You began a partial retirement with him. Okay. Now, a lot of service dogs work older than that. So I don't know. Like Tomlin, he worked right up until the end, but I did a partial with him too, where he would do the retrieving and things like that. Just no balancing or bracing, but retrieving, opening the door, going and getting John, things like that. Yeah, he did that just perfect all the time. So, but it did take him a little while to learn it. When I say all the time, I mean all the time later, not as a puppy. Women's Station Channel says, I still actually didn't know they made them like that. Oh, sorry. I thought that's what did you mean another kind? Because I thought that's what you meant. Sorry if I did. Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at with Archer. I want to start while he's young enough to play and have fun. Sure. With Tomlin, he was like playing and having fun until just about the last minute. So yeah, I think that's important. Our dogs, I think, will tell us. I feel like Tomlin told me. So, which wasn't until close to the end. Because they're used to working, and a lot of their work is their play. So for him, he would have fetched regardless. It didn't matter if it was a prescription bottle or a ball. He was going to fetch it. Yeah, he is. We're still having to buy puppy dog food for him. So the vet said, keep him on puppy dog food until he's 2. So we'll be buying puppy dog food at least until mid-May. Oh, okay. Just a backpack in general, but look how it turned out. Okay. Yeah, they're really cool because they're almost made like a computer backpack. They've got that extra pouch like you would put a computer in, except it's designed for the water bladder. They're great. It's more me than him. Mom and I were talking about it. Gotcha. The balance is a problem. I can see that. So she loves the idea. Yeah. Yeah, I would really look into it. You might be able to find something like that at a REI. They have a like clearance section online, so you might want to look there. Let me see too. I'm looking at Amazon real quick. Yeah, they've got some prices on the backpacks themselves. Here's one that's a 2 liter hydration bladder insulation water rucksack backpack, blah, 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 for $22.88. So you might want to look at Amazon. If you don't look, I'd look both. REI sometimes has some really good prices if you can get like some of their clearance stuff. But Amazon always has, exactly what you need. So on this one, here's the hydration pack that I just saw a second ago. You'll just have to look and make sure it's got the bladder with it. Because some of them, you can see how this is made with just the pack and the pouch. Some of them have the bladders and some of them don't. This one doesn't look like it does. So you'd have to buy it separately. But here we go. Finally, a picture of the pack on the guy's back. So you can see it doesn't stick out a lot. And I think you can hang that on the back of your scooter. You won't know for sure until you try. And if it's, I can't remember what REI's return policy is, but Amazon's is pretty generous there. There it is with the water bladder. And it is $27.99. Oh, it's on sale. I love sales. So then you can put other things in your backpack that you might need. Organized storage layers. Oh, nice. Food grade insulation material. So if you need to take a sandwich or something, you might have space in it. Have to just try and see. So, would you like me to post the link to this one? Does that interest you at all? Oh yeah, REI is a camping and sporting goods store. They have some super expensive stuff, but like I said, their sales are usually pretty good. I don't know that you can beat Amazon's price though on that from what I just saw. Oh, it's the left side. Well, hopefully it won't be that bad. Hopefully it'll just be something transient. I understand that. It's tough. It was a long week and a half. Please, it'll have to wait till payday, but that looks like a great option. They're nice. They really are. I had one for a little while and wound up giving it away when I got the water set up better in the van, but I really liked it. And so I could hang it on a hook in the van and have some water that way. Just as we progressed with our van build, I really didn't need it. I'll post it in the group too on the show link for tonight. Let me get in here. I'll do it right now before I forget, right? Because you know me. There's a water bladder backpack that we talked about tonight. Okay, it's posting. So it'll be on on the post that I posted about tonight's live stream, that's what it'll be on. So, not to mention the cost of another service dog, it's my idea to ask for a wheelchair. Well, now, you can have a motorized wheelchair, right? That's what you have now, so you just need to upgrade it maybe? Because there are some that you can use in the house on a more permanent basis. Gotcha. Well, and it's a tough decision about a dog too, and they're not cheap to maintain. Pipsy's allergic to everything under the planet, so we're having to put him on Purina Pro Plan for sensitive stomachs, and it's like $80 a month for food for him. He's worth it. I'm not saying he's not, but he service dogs are not inexpensive. So yeah, they're really nice. And the one that I had a few extra pockets with it. It wasn't like it may not have had all the pockets this one does, but I was able to put quite a few other things in it, like little packs of crackers, pouches of applesauce, those kinds of things, which kept it all nice and contained. But like, I wish I still had it. I'd send it to you, but that's been years. Because as we upgraded to the pump in the van, I just didn't need it. Yeah. It was long and hard. I couldn't sleep hardly. It was not a good week. Yeah, that would have been tough if you could doing that without much sleep. It would. Oh, I don't even want to think about that. Science diet for sensitive stomachs and Benadryl. Wow, Benadryl you can only give sometimes. You can't keep them on it all the time. So, and your Pipsy, he armies fold his paws. Says, "Aw, does he? Aw, that's so cute." Because he's nice and relaxed when the dogs do that. I had to go. You probably saw on Facebook. Somebody asked me when I had my mammogram. They're like, "Isn't your dog stressed out being in a hospital?" And I was just like, "He doesn't get stressed out over much at all." But he's been in the hospital, medical environment, doctor's offices, labs more times than I care to think about. And we've only had him since June, so he is well acclimated. But I think I don't know if she was like projecting her nervousness onto my dog or if it's just because, the cancer center being such a stressful environment anyway for people, which is where I had to have the mammogram done at the breast cancer center. But the dog did fine. And let's see. Yeah, there's a lot of service dogs that have less sensitive stomachs than mine. But fortunately, he travels with me. And so for me, I could, if I had to trade between sensitive stomach and one that wouldn't travel, I'd take sensitive stomach. Let's see. It depends on women's. Yeah, it does. He's a little more expensive than some. Like Tomlin, he took dog chow. I didn't have to worry about any of this stuff with him. He did dog chow. He did great, and pretty much the end of the story. So dog chow and treats. Dog chow being a lot cheaper, easier to find. Purina Pro Plan's almost a specialty dog food, but this dog would I don't know that he didn't tolerate dog chow well because he started itching and scratching everywhere. Put him back on the Pro Plan, he's fine. So it really just it depends on the type of dog you get, and I think even with breeds, there's some variations within the breeds. Like I can't let him chase sticks and start chewing on him. Tomlin could eat the whole stick. It was just one of those things. Doesn't need Benadryl now that we moved. I think he was allergic to something. It sounds like it. If you haven't needed it since you moved, it sounds like it. So, yeah, but they're in a lot of ways, service dogs don't have to be more expensive than a pet. And if you can get a service dog that doesn't have a super sensitive stomach like Pipsy does, then it's just kind of the luck of the draw, though. I mean, you could get a pet that has a sensitive stomach. But with him, and I could actually do a video on this. Tanya, would you like to do a video on it with me sometime about the cost of a service dog? Um, let's see. Doctor's visits for the dog, right? Yeah, you have to pay for those. Now, with him, I have him covered two different ways just because I'm just me. I have him covered both under pet insurance and a Banfield wellness plan. Um, the reason we still haven't covered under the Banfield wellness plan is because wherever I am, I can call a Banfield vet. They have a 24-hour chat where I can talk with vet techs if I need to get help with a problem that he's having. I can do a telehealth visit with a veterinarian, and they are all over the country. So, pretty much most major cities have a Banfield. So, I can take the service dog in there, and I know I'm off topic, but we could take the service dog in there and I don't have to pay an office fee. So I have a monthly fee, and that also takes care of his heartworm treatment. But then I have him covered under the pet insurance plan. So if something super expensive was to come up, I would have insurance that would cover him. The limits, it's a $750 deductible, 90% coverage with a maximum payout of $7,500, I think it is. And that jacks the price up, but he's a puppy and he's a lab and they eat things. So I didn't want to take a chance on him ingesting something that he shouldn't and having like a stomach blockage or something like that. My younger daughter really strongly encouraged me to do that. Um, with Tomlin, we just had him covered under the wellness plan. He didn't have a sensitive stomach, but he was a husky mix, so it may have to do with the breed. But yeah, the dog ate everything and anything, except when we had to give him medicines. That's about the only time he balked. And that little stinker, I could put his pill in a piece of hot dog and he would eat the hot dog and spit out the pill. So I had to come up with a way to psych him out. Okay. It's really, you don't have to get the pet insurance. You don't have to get the Banfield plan. Most dogs you don't have to get the more expensive dog food for. I just, I do the Banfield and the insurance because of the way I travel and because of my daughter, basically. And we've had really good luck with the Banfield plan. Like, I really like it. I really, really like it. So, because that way I can just take them to the Banfield vet and I know I don't have to worry about the office fee. And with the Banfield plan, we get a discount on regular office services, so that's great. Okay, we'll work. We'll do that. We will do that. I'll send you a message here in a little while. Busy mixes her pills with peanut butter. We tried that with Tomlin, and he did the same thing. So, yeah. And I know you can put the pill in his mouth and shove it down his throat and like hold his snout closed, but I didn't like doing that. So, with him, what I did was I put it in like a piece of hot dog, and because he loved hot dogs, and I could put it in a piece of hot dog, and I would throw the piece, have him sit and say, okay, catch, and let him catch the pieces in his mouth. So I would throw a couple of pieces, then I would throw the piece with the pill, and right behind that I would throw the next one, and he would kind of do his head, and about the time he realized it tasted funny, it was time for the next one. So that's how we did it. Liquid medicine that may cost more because it's easier for me to get Archer to take that. That's not a bad idea. I don't know how well he does really good taking pills. I don't know how well liquid would do. It probably wouldn't have worked with Tomlin, but psyching him out, that helped. As for boots and things like that, service top gear is up to, yes, it is up to the handler. It's easier if him does a lot of walking. Yeah, I don't like Pipsy hated his shoes. We're still working with him on shoes. He can tolerate it, but not for long. So, all right, you all. It is 8:35. I promised to get everybody off by 8:30 because it's Earth Hour. So I'm going to go around and turn out all the lights and everything. Thank you all for watching, though, and for hanging out. It has been great talking to you. So I'm going to go ahead and go. I've got a couple of videos coming out this week, and then I'll see you Saturday at 7 right here. And tomorrow, Stellar Piper is going to be on the other channel with me at 8 o'clock. We're doing the Bible study. So, all right, you all. Thanks for watching. Have a bodacious week, and I will talk to you on Saturday. Good night, everyone.